Tennis champion Serena Williams once said, "Every woman's success should be an inspiration to another. We're strongest when we cheer each other on." This powerful sentiment highlights the importance of supporting one another in our journeys, reminding us that when women uplift each other, we create a stronger, more empowering community. By celebrating each other's achievements, we pave the way for future generations to thrive. I'm Johnny Selden and welcome to Her Story, a show that honors the voices and journeys of women. We're coming to you from Home Basic Interiors. Our location partner is a trendy store offering the latest furniture and stylish interior decor, perfect for transforming any space into a modern and elegant haven. Today, we're excited to welcome Pema Yuden, a remarkable 36-year-old from Thimphu whose journey reflects resilience and innovation. With a background in hospitality gained through her studies in Kolkata and Edinburgh, Pema has crafted a successful career while navigating the challenges of motherhood. Inspired by her own experience as a parent, she founded Giggles, a daycare that offers live CCTV streamlining to provide parents with peace of mind. From starting with a vision for 36 children, Pema has successfully grown Giggles to accommodate 92 kids this year, demonstrating her dedication to creating a nurturing environment for families in her community. Hello and welcome to Her Story, Pema.
Hello, Trini. Thank you for having me here today.
How are you doing?
Today?
Because you have a lot on your plate. You're a mother.
Yes.
You are. I hate saying this, to be very honest, because men get away with 5 children and work, and no one asks, how are you balancing your work? But I'm just asking you, how are you feeling and doing?
I have been very lucky in that way because my husband is amazing. I would not be able to take care of 3 children and have a successful business, Giggles. So, yeah, I have been very lucky, but not just my husband. My family is very supportive and my in-laws are out of the world. You'll not believe it, but my mother-in-law, she cooks food for all of us, the babies as well. She even feeds them.
So you live in a joint family?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes.
So let me begin then by asking you, how does a day in your life look like?
It's pretty mundane. I wake up around 8 o'clock, which is a privilege for me because I love sleeping. Before me, my husband wakes up. He takes care of the kids, he gets them ready. By the time I wake up, usually the kids are fed, they're ready to go. I just have to get myself ready, have breakfast. Then I take the kids with me to the daycare. I also have a my youngest one is only 8 months old. So I drop her off at my parents' house in Changsamto. Then I go to my school. And then, yeah, you can imagine how noisy it is in a daycare. So time passes by really quick at Giggles. And then at 5 o'clock, I go back home.
How old are your kids?
My eldest, she's going to be 5 in March. No, actually this month, in a few days. And my second born, he is 3 years and 6 months old.
Okay, and then
my
you have
youngest,
an 8-month.
Yeah, I have an 8 months old as well. Yes.
Oh my gosh! So you take the first two to
Giggles
Giggles
with
with
me.
you?
Yes, I do.
And the younger one is at home with?
Not at home, actually. Sometimes my mother-in-law does take care of her, but most days I take her to my parents' house in Changsamto. I live in Semtoka, by the way.
And what does help look like at home? Is it, do you have an extra hand helping out?
No, it's just my mother-in-law, my father-in-law. They are my biggest help when I am in Semtoka. However, when my daughter is with my mother, she has another help at home as well.
Oh, so you live with your in-laws.
Yes,
How was that experience? Because a lot of the younger, because I would love to consider you and I in the younger lot. So a lot of us wouldn't put up with our in-laws for reasons that whatever you make up, I'll leave that up to you. But people wouldn't put up with their in-laws nowadays. You somehow decided to. What was the reason behind it?
Well, the first thing is my husband, I don't want to call him a mama's boy, but he's very attached to his mother. Okay. But his mother is not like, you know how some mother are like, she's not like that. She's more of a mother to me as well. And I'd like to give you an idea about the kind of place that we live in. It's a 3-story building, right? So each one of us have our own house. You know, the main door is ours. We have a kitchen. We have a separate living space for each one of us. So my mother-in-law and father-in-law, they live in one flat. Then there's me, my husband, my 3 kids, and my sister-in-law and her husband, they live in the topmost. So
That's
we
a
get our
dream.
privacy when we want to.
But you
when we
also
need
have the help.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
so it's a win-win
That's
for
a dream.
Yes, it is.
Wow. All right. So Pema, I have heard a lot about you from some of my previous guests here, and they were telling me how amazing you are. I hope you know that you are a spark of inspiration. At least they notice it that way. They see it that way. So you went to study hospitality, but then
Yes.
now you are an entrepreneur slash an educator.
Yes.
So how did this transition happen? If you could take us through the journey.
Sure. Nothing interesting. Like I already mentioned to you before, I actually wanted to become a lawyer. Not just lawyer. When I was in school, I had so many ambitions. I wanted to become a teacher. I wanted to become a lawyer. At one point, I wanted to become a doctor. Yeah, I wanted
You
to
all
become,
over,
yeah,
yeah.
I was all over the place. However, after finishing my 12, you know, there was a few months in between where you get to decide what you want to do next. I really wanted to pursue law. But then it got me thinking, becoming a lawyer looks like you need to study a lot. So I decided, you know, let me take the easy way out. I don't want to study anymore. So I chose tourism and hospitality. However, I really enjoyed my work in tourism and hospitality. I worked in all the departments in Edinburgh. I started working when I was 19 years old. I lived there for 5 years. Then I decided to come back here, worked in hotels again, and then I met my wonderful husband. So after marrying him, you know, I always wanted to start a family really early on. However, it took us some time to have our first child. But since the time I conceived, I knew it in my heart that I want to give my baby 100%. I didn't want anyone else to look after her. I am what you call a helicopter parent.
Yeah.
It's not always.
I'm not guilty, say.
Yeah,
I'm not ashamed of it.
I know. So yeah, so that's how I shifted from hospitality. Although I loved, you know, I was in the HR and training department in the hotels. Although I loved my job, once I conceived, you know, the motherly instinct just kicked in to protect my child. And yeah, after becoming a mother of 3, I decided.
So there was a
Daycare.
specific reason though, like
Yes.
you did take us around why you made the switch, but not necessarily dive into it. And I want you to explain to us what about the ECCDs that were already there that bothered you to go out and start your own ECCD.
As soon as my daughter was 2 years old, she started talking a lot and she kept telling me, Mama, I want to go to school, because her cousins were going to school back then. Then one day I decided, I always knew 2 years is too young, I felt, but then she kept insisting. So I was like, maybe I'll take her around, you know, a daycare tour of whatever daycare was available in Thimphu. I visited a few. They were all good. However, I felt like if my child goes to a daycare, I don't want to bother the teacher. What is my child doing? Are they eating well? I don't want to text the teacher, because I'd rather have the teacher focus on the children, you know. But I would still want an update on my kid. That is how I decided, you know, I'm going to start a daycare whereby parents need not necessarily have to keep texting the teacher all the time. They could just log in and see, zoom in, zoom out, and look at whatever their kid is doing, thereby giving them a peace of mind as well. And you know, the interesting fact about Giggles is that we don't just give our CCTV credentials to the guardians who live locally. Most of our parents are also in Australia, Canada, America, so they are all able to watch their children and thereby, you know, sort of get this feeling that they're there with their kids.
This is amazing because I mean, I also have a 7-year-old, and when I went around hunting, I saw problems, but it never occurred to me that I could solve them. You somehow had the courage and knew that you could solve them. What gave you that push?
Never did I ever think that I was one day going to start a daycare. But like I said, I'm a helicopter mother myself, and then I saw a few of the daycares in Thimphu, and I felt like there are some mothers who are just like me, who would want to see what the kids are doing, and instead of just enrolling her to any daycare, I decided to start a daycare where parents would happily send their kids.
How has the 2 years of Giggles been?
I would say it's been challenging, but more than challenge, I feel really blessed because we have amazing set of children with us. Parents are very supportive as well. And I know we are doing well because we get so many calls. In one single day, we get calls, messages, even when we post it on our social media saying that we are full, our admissions are full, people will just ask for one more seat, and it happens on a daily basis, you know. So that's how I know. I think we must be doing something right, and word of mouth is spreading really fast.
Wow. Okay. Are there any challenges with that, though?
There are, because our space, you've not been to Giggles before, but we have made an extension this year, and that has enabled us to take on a few more children. However, I feel like if we get a bigger space, more parents would be willing to enroll their kids in Giggles. But unfortunately, because of space constraint, we are not able to accommodate all the children.
Wow. It must be, being a helicopter parent is already, for those of you who don't know what helicopter parent is, let's go ahead and explain this.
Yes.
It's these types of parents who are very hands-on.
Yes.
They are constantly keeping their children in check and keeping an eye on them. So that terminology is the helicopter parenting memo. I personally believe to be a helicopter parent is so exhausting. But you are a helicopter parent to 3 children.
Yes. Well, like my husband says, you know, one child was difficult, second child was okay, third child is easy peasy, like he says.
Really?
He says fourth one will not even matter, you know.
Oh wow! So that should encourage everybody to have more children.
Yes, because after 2 you're just numb. You know, they're there, so yeah.
You're numb.
The more kids you have, I feel like it becomes easier for some reason. Yeah.
But I worry the more number of children you have, they're outnumbering the parents.
Yes.
And I feel like they will overtake us and they'll start ruling the house.
It has already happened in ours. Yeah, so we have given up. We are numb, like I said.
Oh wow, okay. So Pema, I'm so happy, and it's very encouraging to see you go out and make things right for yourself more.
Thank you, yeah.
But you have had your share of struggle before you had your child.
Yes.
Your children, actually.
Yes.
So if you would like to share a little about it.
Now, I got married in 2016. My husband and I dated for a very short period of time, 3.5 months.
Oh, okay.
And then we went and we got married, you know, we got our MC. None of our family members knew. But
about the MC?
About the MC, nobody knew. We were that adventurous back then. And then eventually we did tell our parents, and you know, like my family and his family as well, they wanted us to have kids. We wanted to have kids, you know, but it was really difficult for us to conceive. My first child, my daughter, we call her our rainbow baby because, you know, it was quite a struggle to have her. And when we went to check what the problem was it him, was it me, we wanted to get medically checked. You know, I was told that that was the first thing.
And
that
you
was
were
told
telling me this was the first thing they looked at you and they said that.
It's very general, even not just at the hospital, even within family members, you know. Us Bhutanese are very candid. Do you call it candid? What do you call it? They just say it. That's why you're not conceiving, you know. But yeah, we got checked and there was no problem with my husband and I. So I did feel like maybe I need to lose weight. And I joined a very wonderful gym. I started CrossFit with Express Fitness.
And look at her promote that.
I am, because their child comes to Giggles. She's a good friend as well. Yeah, so I went there. I lost quite a bit of weight. And that is how I conceived my rainbow baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that took 4 years, you said?
That took, almost 4 years, because 2016 I got married in August. Then my baby was born in March of 2020. And in between I did have few miscarriages. So that's why we call my daughter as a rainbow baby. She's a very special baby.
Miscarriages and the struggling to the struggle to conceive. These are topics that normally, especially in our country and even outside too, we don't discuss it openly. So I'm really glad you talk about it. If you could take us through the journey, especially the mental struggles of people pinning it to your weight, first of all, the mega, and then also people, were there enough support for you? How was the family members? How were your friends? How was your husband? How did you deal with this and the miscarriage too?
I was actually working when I had my first miscarriage. I was working in one of the resorts in Thimphu. And because when you're pregnant after such a long time, you don't really think that you're going to miscarry the baby, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I was at work and then I started bleeding and it was quite shocking for me. Called my husband came to pick me up immediately. So in that way, my husband has always been there, you know, and as soon as the miscarriage happened, we consulted the doctor and they told us to wait for at least 6 months. And, you know, I would always be like, when will the 6 months get over? And my husband would always tell me, you know, you and I are enough. We don't really need a baby. You know, just focus on your mental health right now. So I'm mentally very strong that way. I will always look into the future. Like even today, if I'm sick right now, like I have lost my voice, you know, how you're bedridden sometimes. I will not focus on the now. I always think about 1 week from today, I'm going to be better. And these are the things I need to get done. So even back then, you know, when I miscarried, my husband was, of course, there. My father and mother were also there. They were like, Rimro Pilikelela, you know. And my mother-in-law is amazing. She would cook me soup, you know. So I got all kinds of support. So having a supportive family really, really does matter, I feel.
It made it easier on you.
It's very easy on you as long as you have a supportive system.
So then tell me about the time you found out you were pregnant for the first time. That must have been...
Oh God, I was on a tour with my husband. I think we were in Gilifu back then. And I had this feeling that I need to check, I need to pee on a stick and see that I'm pregnant. I kept telling my husband. And then we were traveling in his office car, right? As soon as we got here, medical shop was just 2 minutes walk away from our home. Back then we used to live in Mutitang. My husband went there, he got 2 sticks. I peed on it. You know, there was a faint second line. And I was like, oh my God, Cici, there's a second line. And he was like, Mithome. You know, how many sticks we peed? If you follow me on Instagram, you'll be able to see. There's like
I'm going to share your image. Please send me that. I'm going to share this here.
Yes. So it was, oh my God, that same evening we went to Chorten. We did a couple of rounds. And somehow, because I didn't want to go through the same experience of miscarrying again, I became very religious. I became even healthier than before. I was walking, I was eating healthy. My husband had this printed out in A3 paper, the big one, what fruits to eat, what not to eat, what to do, you know.
So but then because you've miscarried, you've miscarried, the first time you found out you're pregnant, it must have come with some sort of fear too.
Yes, we were always worried. You know, we would always, every time I would have a little tummy ache, I would be like, oh my God, is this another sign again? So that's why I'm telling you, we became really, really religious as well. I would
paranoid
pray.
too.
I know, because we didn't want that to happen. But as soon as the 12 weeks mark was over, I was one day having lunch at my parents' house, and you know, in Bhutan, you don't really come out and say, I'm pregnant, you know. Then I called all my mom, dad, my siblings, and all. My husband was there. I was like, I have a news. And my nibblings were like, what happened? I mean, what happened? I said, I am pregnant. And the first thing my mom says was, Ninang khule mawa.
This is Bhutanese, very Bhutanese.
My mom was happy, but she was like, Ninang khule mawa, you know, she was like that. But
And from struggling to have a child, to conceive, to cut to 3 children
Yeah.
later. How has motherhood been for you?
It's been quite a journey, but somehow some people ask you, if you didn't have these kids, if you were not a mother, what would you be? I would not be anything else. I just want to be a mother.
You've always wanted to be a mother.
I've always wanted to be a mother. I've
Wow.
always wanted to get married, always wanted children, and yeah, I think it's in my system. What do you say now?
What is something about being a mother that no one has told you but caught you off guard?
Everything, actually. Everything about being a mother. My sisters became mother before I did. I would watch them raise their kids, and I don't want to admit it, but I was very judgy, I judge.
Aunties,
Yeah,
childless aunties
exactly.
are the worst judges. I was like that. I would judge my sisters
Yeah.
too.
So I would always judge them, the food they would give the kids, how they will just let the kid be. I don't know how they will dress up the kids. I used to be like that. But then once I became a mother, I realized, it puts you in place.
Yeah.
It grounds you once you become a mother yourself. And everything, I had to learn everything. Because back then, how you raised a kid and now how you raise a kid, it's completely different. Like, I told you I'm a helicopter mother, right? But my mother-in-law would also tell me, Mami zumbi biomese, because I'm like, I thrive on routine. And I read somewhere that children thrive on routine as well. So my daughter will wake up. I'm talking about when I was just a mother to one kid.
Okay.
Things are different now. Yeah, things are different now. It's all over the place now. So she would wake up, she would have her breakfast, she will play exactly on time. 2 hours after she wakes up, I'll put her to nap. And then after like 1.5 hours, I'll wake her up, I'll play again. Then on time, I'll put her to nap. And my mother-in-law would say, Dad, since the time, mommy, training job doesn't. She would always say that to me. So I feel like, unlike other mothers who are like really in their element, they just go through the day like that. I've never been like that. I have to be on it. Otherwise, anxiety kicks in.
Yeah. Were you always like a type A person before?
I was.
Okay.
Little.
And I think it's only after you have enough experience with children, in your case you have 3 children who are all under the age of 5.
Under the age of 5,
then you start to how are you now, like let loose?
Now I'm better with my third, because with my first 2, I was there with them 24/7, right? I would do everything with them, not a single day away from them. However, with my third, after she was born, because Giggles had already started by then, as soon as she was 2 months old, I went back to work, and although I didn't want to, my mother, she told me, don't take your baby to the daycare right now, she's so little. And I couldn't just leave Giggles as well, because so many parents depend on me, right? I feel comfortable when I'm there myself. So I was like, okay, you're lucky. Finally, you get to look after one of my child. I told my mom, I always tease her like that. So with the third one, I am a bit guilty, because I'm not able to spend as much time with her as I did with my first 2. But I feel like I'm a bit mellow now. It's not like amchina nigo, amchina mongo, we wake up at this time, eat at this time. I'm not like that.
You're finding the balance.
I'm finally finding the balance now, after my third kid.
I got there.
Yeah.
Pema, if you don't mind, when have you been the proudest of yourself? This can be professionally or personally.
I'll tell you professionally, because I think we have talked a lot about personal things. So since Giggles started on 1st February 2024 last year, every day has been a proud moment for me. Because, especially because we do 2 times we do a parents-teachers meeting. And it's not like a school whereby you give progress report. We don't do that. It's just a casual conversation between the parent and the teacher. Especially after every meeting like that, the parents tell me, oh, our kids didn't eat before, but since they've started school, they're learning, interested to eat by themselves. Before eating, although they don't know tomche, they try to do tomche. So every little thing I feel, is a proud moment for me. However, at the end of our first year, I came up, not me, my team, we all came up with the brilliant idea of printing our first school yearbook. And you know, did you have yearbook back in your days from your school?
No.
Magazines?
School, yes,
Yeah.
yes, we did.
And I didn't realize that schools have stopped doing that. Almost all the schools have stopped doing that. So we thought that it'll be a nice thing to give like a souvenir
Yeah, there.
for the kids to
Yeah,
give, because some were passing out, some were going to Australia, some were moving daycares. So we came up with this idea of making a yearbook where we had printed all the activities that we did and individual photos of kids as well, something that the kids could look back at. You
Yeah.
know how you see in TikTok before and after. We wanted to do something like that, create a memory. And when parents saw it, they didn't know that we had printed it off. On the last day when we gave it to them, they were so happy, you know, and that I feel was the proudest moment for me, because nobody does yearbook now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We've basically come to the end. I want to give you a sentence.
Okay.
And in your own words, I want you to complete
Okay.
complete the sentence. So, Pema Yuden is?
A mother. In essence, I'm a mother. I'm a very good mother. That's what I'd like to say. I was born to be a mother, and I am very lucky that Giggles is doing well. It all started with my journey after becoming a mother. So
As we wrap up today's episode of Her Story, we've been truly inspired by our guest, Pema Yuden, whose journey exemplifies resilience and empowerment. Her story reminds us that by sharing our experiences and supporting one another, we can break barriers and inspire greatness in others. Together, we can create a vibrant community where every woman's success is celebrated and serves as motivation for the next. Remember, your story is a part of the greater narrative of change and progress. Until next time, keep writing your own Her Story. Bye-bye.